Today is not just another morning, it's a fresh start, a new chapter, a chance to step into the fullness of what God has prepared for you. Yesterday might have been heavy. Maybe you felt like you were carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, but hear me when I say this, that weight does not define you. The tears you cried, the battles you faced, the mistakes you made, none of it can stop the power of God moving in your life. Let me tell you something right now. Your past is a part of your story, but it is not the whole story. Too often we get stuck in the mistakes we've made, the pain we've endured, or the labels the world has placed on us. But let me remind you of this truth. Your past is a stepping stone, not a destination. It may have shaped you, but it doesn't have the power to define the person you are becoming unless you allow it. Your purpose is far greater than any failure, misstep, or moment of weakness. God didn't create you to live life tethered to shame or guilt. He didn't call you to let the opinions of others or even your own doubts hold you back from the incredible plans He has for you. There's a reason why you've overcome every storm and why you're still standing today. That's because God is working something extraordinary in your life. He sees the beauty in your broken. He can take the pieces of what you thought were shattered and build something more glorious than you could ever imagine. Your past may have been messy, but God specializes in redemption stories. Don't you dare let your past be the loudest voice in your head. The mistakes you made were lessons, not life sentences. The pain you endured was a process, not a punishment. It's time to break the chains of your past and declare that you are no longer who you used to be. Here's the thing about purpose, it's always forward moving. Purpose doesn't live in regret, it lives in possibility. It's rooted in the divine vision God has for your life, a vision that goes far beyond what you can see right now. But for you to walk boldly in your purpose, you've got to let go of the things that are weighing you down. Unforgiveness, shame, bitterness. These things have no place in the future God has for you. The enemy wants you to believe that your mistakes disqualify you, but God says, I have called you. The enemy wants you to think you're unworthy, but God says you are chosen. Don't let the shadows of yesterday keep you from the light of today. Every single thing you've been through, good or bad, has prepared you for this moment. Nothing is wasted in God's plan. And let's talk about your story. There's someone out there right now who needs to hear it. There's someone struggling with the same battles you've overcome. When you embrace your purpose and stop letting your past define you, you give others permission to do the same. You become a living testimony of what it means to rise above the ashes and walk in. So, step into your purpose with boldness. Remember, God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. Your past is part of your journey, but your purpose is the reason you're here. Let that truth define you today and every day. Challenges are unavoidable in life, but here's the good news. They're not meant to break you, they're meant to build you. Every time you face a challenge, you're being given an opportunity to grow, to stretch, and to transform into the person you're destined to be. It may not feel like it in the moment, but the struggle is preparing you for something greater. Think about it. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is refined by fire, and seeds must break through the dirt before they bloom. The same is true for you. Challenges are not evidence that you're failing. They're proof that you're growing. God allows these moments to strengthen your character, deepen your faith, and prepare you for the blessings He has in store. You can't skip the process. Growth requires going through, not around, the challenges. When life feels overwhelming, it's easy to ask, why is this happening to me? But the better question to ask is, what is this teaching me? Every challenge carries a lesson. Maybe it's teaching you patience, resilience, or trust in God's timing. Maybe it's revealing strengths you didn't even know you had. Or perhaps it's stripping away what's no longer serving you, making room for something better. Transformation is rarely comfortable, but it's always worth it. It's important to shift your mindset when you're in the middle of a storm. Challenges are not roadblocks, they're stepping stones. They're not the end of the story, they're just a chapter. Remember, you've already overcome so much to get to where you are now. The same God who brought you through your past challenges will bring you through this one. He's not done with you yet. And let me tell you something, the enemy doesn't attack what isn't a threat. If you're facing challenges, it's because there's something powerful inside of you. There's a calling on your life, a purpose that's bigger than you can imagine. The enemy would love nothing more than for you to give up, but don't you dare. Stand firm. Trust that God is working behind the scenes, even when you can't see it. He's using the very thing that's testing you to elevate you. The beauty of challenges is that they often bring transformation, not just in your circumstances, but in your spirit. They teach you how to rely on God more fully. They remind you that His strength is made perfect in your weakness. They mold you into a vessel that can carry the blessings He's preparing for you. So the next time you're faced with a challenge, remember this. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you. Embrace it as part of your journey. Lean into the discomfort, knowing that it's shaping you into the person you were created to be. And when you come out on the other side, and you'll see that the challenge was not just an obstacle, it was an opportunity. An opportunity to grow, to transform, and to step into your purpose with greater confidence and clarity. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions we face. It whispers that you're not good enough, that you don't have what it takes, that the path ahead is too uncertain. Fear tries to paralyze you, to keep you stuck where it's safe and familiar. But let me tell you something. God's plan for your life is so much greater than the fear you're feeling. It's greater than your doubts, greater than your insecurities, and greater than the limitations you've placed on yourself. Fear has a way of magnifying the unknown, but that's exactly where faith comes in. Faith doesn't require you to see the whole picture. It simply asks you to trust the one who does. You might not understand why things are happening the way they are. You might not see how everything is going to work out, but God sees the end from the beginning. He's already written your story, and it's a story of victory, not defeat. Trusting the process means letting go of the need to control every detail. It means acknowledging that even when things don't go according to your plan, they're still unfolding according to His. It's not easy, I know, but faith isn't about ease. It's about surrender. It's about saying, God, I don't know how this is going to work, but I trust that you do. Here's the truth. Fear is always going to show up when you're on the verge of something great. The enemy wants to use fear to keep you from stepping into your calling. He wants you to stay comfortable, to play it small, to settle for less than God's best. But every time you choose faith over fear, you're taking a step closer to the life God has prepared for you. Think about all the people in the Bible who had to trust God's plan in the face of fear. Moses didn't feel qualified to lead the Israelites. Esther didn't know if her courage would cost her life. David faced a giant with nothing but a slingshot. Yet in every case, God's plan prevailed, not because they were fearless, but because they chose to trust Him despite their fear. And the same God who guided them is guiding you. The same power that parted the Red Sea, that closed the mouths of lions, that raised Jesus from the grave, that same power is at work in your life. So why would you let fear have the final say? Trust in the process doesn't mean you won't feel afraid. It means you don't let fear stop you. It means you move forward even when the path ahead isn't clear. It means you hold onto the promises of God, knowing that He will never leave you or forsake you. So today, make the decision to trust Him. Trust that He's working all things together for your good. Trust that His timing is perfect, even when it feels delayed. Trust that the dreams He's placed in your heart are there for a reason. And most of all, trust that His plan is far greater than anything you could ever imagine. Fear might try to hold you back, but faith will always carry you forward. Let faith lead the way. There's something special about you, something no one else on this earth can replicate. God didn't create you to blend in or dim your light just to make others comfortable. You were created to shine. You were called to stand out, to embrace the gifts, talents, and purpose that God uniquely placed inside of you. There's no one else who can fulfill the assignment He has given you. So today I'm challenging you. Stop playing small and walk boldly in your unique calling. The world will try to convince you that you need to fit into a mold to be accepted, that you need to shrink yourself to be loved, or that you need to follow the crowd to be successful. But God's kingdom doesn't work that way. Your uniqueness is your superpower. What makes you different is what makes you necessary. God didn't make a mistake when He created you. Every detail about you, your personality, your experiences, your passions, was designed for a purpose. Walking boldly in your calling means embracing who you are without apology. It means understanding that you were created with intention for a reason and with a mission that only you can fulfill. It means silencing the voices of doubt, insecurity, and comparison. Stop looking at what others are doing and focus on what God has placed in your hands. Comparison is a thief, and it will rob you of the joy and confidence you need to step into your purpose. You're not called to someone else's journey. You're called to your own. But let's be real. Walking boldly isn't always easy. Sometimes fear will creep in and tell you that you're not ready, that you're not good enough, or that someone else can do it better. Other times people will misunderstand your vision or question your motives. But here's what you need to know. If God called you, He will equip you. He doesn't ask for perfection. He asks for obedience. When you take the first step in faith, God will meet you there. He'll provide the resources, the wisdom, and the strength you need to keep going. And as you walk in your calling, don't be afraid to let your light shine. Your light isn't just for you, it's for others too. When you shine, you give others permission to shine. You inspire them to step into their own purpose. Your obedience to God's calling can be the spark that sets someone else's faith on fire. Don't hide the brilliance God placed inside of you. Let it radiate so brightly that it draws others closer to Him. Remember, walking boldly doesn't mean you'll have all the answers or that the path will always be clear. But it does mean trusting God every step of the way. It means showing up with courage, even when you feel unqualified. It means standing firm in your faith and declaring, I am here for a reason, and I will not shrink back. So today, choose to walk boldly, be unapologetically you, trust that God's hand is guiding you and that His plans for you are good. Shine your light in the places He has called you to, and watch how your obedience transforms not only your life, but the lives of those around you. In the end, everything comes back to one truth. You were created with purpose, on purpose, and for a purpose. Your past doesn't define you, your challenges don't disqualify you, and your fears don't dictate your future. God's plan for your life is greater than anything you could imagine, and it's already in motion. All He asks is that you trust Him, walk boldly in the calling He has placed on your life, and let your light shine unapologetically. The world needs what you carry, your story, your gifts, your presence. They are not accidents. When you rise above doubt and fear, when you embrace the fullness of who God created you to be, you inspire others to do the same. You don't just make an impact, you create ripples that extend far beyond what you can see. So today, make the decision to step forward in faith. Leave behind the weight of yesterday, trust the process, and walk boldly into the future God has prepared for you. You are capable, you are chosen, and you are enough. Let your light shine brightly and watch how God uses you to transform not just your own life, but the lives of everyone around you. The best is yet to come. Walk boldly into it. You've got this.